Cindy, do you know what tomorrow is?
Tomorrow is Veterans Day.
Tomorrow is Veterans Day. Do you remember way back, and I'm talking back, it was either June or July, I can't remember exactly when it was, but this summer, we had the traveling Vietnam Wall, the wall that heals, I think is what they actually called it. Do you remember going back there and we were filming down there?
I do remember. It was awesome.
Well, our producer, Cameraman Wes, decided that we needed to save that for this time. It just seems more fitting and more proper to air that right here the day before Veterans Day.
Yes, I agree totally.
It's beautiful being up here in Indianapolis, here with the War Memorial right behind us. We're here at the fountain. It's just, you almost forget sometimes how beautiful this city of Indianapolis really is.
It's true. You know, you hear a lot of stuff and then you come down here and it's like, it's very nice.
It is, it's a beautiful place. We want to give a big shout out to Ladendorf Law. That's right, they are now Ladendorf, Fregiato, and Bigler. They're bigger and badder than ever. Thank you guys so much for being a part of Steel Horse Thunder ever since we became Steel Horse Thunder, and for taking care of the motorcycle community here in the Indianapolis area. Thank you so much. Remember, you can still get to Ladendorf Law's website. You go right to steelhorsethunder.com, click on their logo, and bam, you're right there on the website. So thank you again, Ladendorf, Fregiato, and Bigler, for being a part of Steel Horse Thunder. Cindy, how about we take a look back now, go back into the summertime, and take a look at the wall in Martinsville, Indiana.
Let's go.
Guys, behind me is the wall. This is a replica of the wall that you see in DC. And they bring it out here, they set all this up. They have a tractor trailer rig that's got all sorts of information and videos and stuff like that about Vietnam War. This is absolutely amazing. This is all done by volunteers. I think there's 2 staff members, they said, for all of this. And it's just absolutely crazy. The rest are all volunteers. All right, Dustin. Ladendorf Law has been a sponsor of Steel Horse Thunder for many, many, many years. There's been some changes. What can we expect?
Well, Ladendorf Law is now Ladendorf, Fregiato, and Bigler as of the 1st of this year, January 1st, 2024. It is the same team, the same people. Everyone's still involved. We just simply have a name change. Myself, Dustin Fregiato, and Matt Bigler are now partners with Mark.
Okay. And so the fact that Ladendorf Law is now Ladendorf, Fregiato, and Bigler, you guys are bigger and badder than ever, correct?
Of course, absolutely.
All right, integrity is still the same?
Absolutely.
All right, Dustin, I'm glad you guys are on board.
Thank you very much.
All right, Vic, we are here at the Morgan County Fairgrounds. I'm not sure how we got privileged to be able to have you guys here in our town, but the wall that heals. Can you explain to me what this is? I mean, the wall is out there. You have a trailer here that's got all sorts of information. What are you guys all about?
Absolutely. We're with the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. We are the founders of the wall in Washington, D.C. In 1979, our founder made a decision that he wanted to build a memorial to honor all the men and women that served in the country of Vietnam, those 2.7 million Americans. He wanted to build that memorial on a national mall. He wanted it to contain the 58,000 plus names of those men and women that didn't come home. And he wanted that memorial to help the healing of a nation. We were still strongly divided over our opinions about the war.
Right.
In the late 1990s, it was decided by the nonprofit that we needed to travel the country, bring the healing that the wall that heals causes, the education across America. This is actually the 3rd rendition. The first 2 were a little bit smaller, but what we have is a 3/4 scale replica of the memorial in Washington, D.C., and of course this mobile education center. We will run over 800 students through this education center Thursday and Friday.
Wow.
Bringing that education so they have a better understanding of the Vietnam War and the sacrifices our servicemen made for them.
Wow. Now, how long does it take? I mean, the wall, this is big. It's a much bigger than what I was expecting to see. It's got to take a long time to get this all set up.
Absolutely. We couldn't do it without the community. It's the volunteers that came out. Actually, it was mostly high school students here. It was mostly cheerleaders. They were supplemented by the football team.
Huh.
We started at 8:30 a.m. and we were done at 2 p.m.
That's actually quicker than I thought it would be.
Absolutely. Everything out here you see, from the wall itself to the visitor's tent to this motorcycle, goes inside the education trailer.
Okay. Okay, now when you're done here, you're going to be here through the weekend. You'll close shop on Sunday.
Right.
Whose decision was it to make sure this is open 24 hours a day? That to me is amazing.
Well, that's part of the healing, just as the wall is in Washington, D.C. We do the best we can to replicate the experience you'd have in Washington, D.C. Because as you know, many times veterans and individuals don't feel comfortable coming out in crowds.
Right.
So what we do is we light our wall up from above, because we can't put the lights in the ground like we do in D.C.
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. So sometimes we want to have this open 24 hours a day so the individuals can come out and reflect. They can come out and visit the wall during their own time. That's very important to the healing and to those veterans and to those families. That's why it's open 24 hours a day. There's only 2 staff members that come with the memorial. Everybody else here is from your community. Somebody in your community last year made an application to us, the nonprofit, to bring the wall that heals. And then they have to go through a small training. We receive over 100 applications a year. We narrow that down to 30 to 36 locations for every year. While we visited over 700 communities since the inception, we go 30 to 36 a year. Wow. They go to work. Can you imagine all the planning it takes to make sure that they fit all of the requirements we need for them to come out here? They have to schedule those school tours. They have to schedule all of the volunteers, make sure there's people to set it up, make sure there's people to take it down. We're here to assist them, but this is a community event. This has nothing to do with myself or the staff. This is about your community and reaching out to those veterans and those families that may never have that opportunity to make it to Washington, D.C.
Right.
And then that continuing education. We will be giving tours to citizens, your community, tomorrow. And we encourage everybody, please come out. Obviously, we have some displays here. Some of them are running some video. Some of them are just to be read. But if we're giving a tour, jump into it. I promise you, no matter how much you know about Vietnam, we're going to provide some information that maybe you've never heard, or a different perspective of the war, a different perspective of why we do some of the things we do today. One of the things we teach the young people, we know our Vietnam veterans came home and were disrespected, but yet today when you see a veteran, we all say thank you for your service. So what happened from the end of the war to the beginning of Gulf War I? Those Vietnam veterans stood up and they said, this nation will never disrespect another group of veterans as long as we live. We're going to change the future. So from this day forward, what I want us all to remember is, you see a Vietnam veteran, while they do appreciate, thank you for their service, welcome them home first. It won't be long before one of them turns around and looks at you and says, you know, I've been home 50 years and nobody ever welcomed me home.
Wow.
You know, and it's those little things that we learned over the years that we want to make sure that we can spread the word, spread that education, so that we truly understand what these guys went through. You know, we talk about the draft, we talk about all of those things so that we all have an understanding of the sacrifices of our men and women, but also those families that were left behind. Every name on that wall touched a family back home.
Right.
We added a photograph to every name on the wall. When we come into your community, on that display back there, we place those photographs of the individuals from this county and the adjoining counties that recorded this as their home of record when they entered military service. But you can go to our website and you can see the names of all those 58,000 servicemen that didn't get a chance to come home. because we want to make sure we never stop speaking their names.
Right.
If we stop speaking their names, they're lost. And we don't want that to ever happen.
So what made you decide to volunteer?
Well, my deceased husband was a Vietnam vet, for one thing, and my middle son had volunteered in 21 when it was up in Franklin, Indiana, and I thought it sounded like a nice way to spend an evening,
Yeah.
to honor all these guys. So
What do you think about that when you see this wall? I mean, this is pretty amazing.
I've seen the one in DC, and
Yeah.
this is just, there's a sense, you know, that they're here, they're still with us.
Right.
So it's just, we never want them to forget. So I'm really glad they bring the school kids over
Oh, I know.
and teach them what this is all about. You know, you lost this many in one war, but the one for World War II would be 4 times as big.
Right.
And they need to realize that, you know, this is part of what building the United States was and is.
Yes. Yes, I agree
So-
100%. You know, and again, to me, I don't even care what your opinion is on war or whatever.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It goes beyond that. These are real names. These are real
Yeah,
names
those are
on
real
this
people.
wall right here. And you know, and I have been fortunate enough to go out to DC and see the wall out there. But I am very surprised at how big this traveling one is.
It is amazing, isn't it?
I did not expect it to be anything like this. This gives you, if you've never been out to DC, this gives you an idea what you would see when you go out there.
Oh, yeah.
It's just absolutely amazing. Big shout out to Krambo's. Chris Crampy, world-renowned painter. They have Harley mechanics. They have all the accessories, the bells and whistles that you need for your motorcycle. They do great tire sales there, and they have some really cool attire. Get your swag at Krambo's. US 40 over in Greencastle. That's right, it's the Texaco building, 6.3 miles west of US 231, right off of US 40. You know what they say, Krambo's, they'll get you noticed.
What about those veterans that came home and dealt with untreated PTSD, untreated war wounds,
Right.
the Agent Orange exposure? They had to fight for that recognition. Department of Defense says they can't be added to the wall. We created the In Memory program. It's an online program, and it's a program we feel that's very important because, again, they felt isolated for many years. The family members that suffered alongside of them felt isolated. Now all of a sudden they find out, while it's an online program, they get to honor their loved one, honor their service, and then they find out there's other families out there just like them, part of that healing.
Right.
So we have all that information out here, and we have a photograph of every person in the state of Indiana that is no longer with us, that served in the country of Vietnam, on another display here.
So now you guys will be here through Sunday. You start tearing everything down Sunday, correct?
Absolutely, 2 o'clock.
2
We
o'clock
tear
PM.
it down, pack it up. Trucking companies across the nation through the Truck Carriers Association volunteer their trucks. The drivers volunteer their time.
Wow.
And they will haul
Wow.
us different truck drivers, different trucks every week.
And then you'll be in another community.
We'll be in another community
Thursday?
next week. Yep, we leave on
Wow.
Sundays and we bring it into the community with that motorcycle escort.
Right.
Because that's that welcome home ceremony, that parade those veterans never received.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't undo the past, but we can possibly start changing the future.
Exactly.
So then on Tuesday it's brought in, on Wednesday it's set up, open 24 hours a day until Sunday. We run from in March to April every year.
That's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. You know, a couple years ago, you guys came into Johnson County
Okay.
Fairgrounds, and I had the privilege of a Vietnam vet who had built his own motorcycle, decorated with every branch of the military on it, you know, and he wanted that bike in there, but he could not ride physically, he just couldn't do it anymore. And they called me and asked me if I would ride that bike. And to me, that was just such a great honor. I was never in the military. I almost feel very unworthy when it comes to something like that. You know, I rode with Rolling Thunder in DC on a Memorial weekend and rode in that demonstration ride, you know, 900,000 motorcycles strong. Again, feel a little unworthy because I didn't pay the price, you know what I mean? But I had so many veterans around me saying, no, what you're doing needs to be done, and more people need to see what you're doing so they realize they need to get involved with this as well.
Absolutely.
So a weekend in DC that I didn't think would affect me too much ended up making me cry like a baby for 4 days we were there. Just a whole new understanding. Like you said, I gained a whole new understanding going to the wall. We went to the wall twice, you know, once at nighttime, once in the daytime. And you learn so much more just by talking to other people that are around.
You know, I'm brought to tears every day by something. Whether it's talking to you, reliving some of the experiences. And we tell our volunteers, when you're working that wall down there and you're helping people find those names, and all of a sudden you find the name of that guy's battle buddy, and then he starts telling you that story, or that family member that tells you about their loved one they lost up to 50 years ago. That's so important and so moving. I tell everybody this is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my entire life, and all of these volunteers out here will tell you the same thing.
Yeah.
They had no idea the impact that this was going to occur. This is truly the wall of magic. The things that occur at the wall here, the wall in Washington, D.C. are unbelievable. Yesterday morning, for no reason at all, during the sunrise, there was a rainbow over the back of the wall. Where'd the rainbow come from? It hadn't been raining.
Right.
I had a double rainbow down there.
Wow.
It was the most beautiful thing. When it rains, the names disappear on the wall. When the sun comes out from the heavens and warm it up, they reappear. Again, we experienced that today. These veterans will come out here. They'll be standing at a panel. They'll be honoring one of their buddies. They'll hear a voice that they haven't heard in 50 years and turn around and it's their battle buddy, because we know the bonds formed in battle are stronger than anything, and it's never unbroken.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so much. I mean,
thank you.
What you guys have here is, it really is really amazing. And like I said, it's, even for me who wasn't from a military family or anything else, it's just amazing what it brings to light for me.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I want to say thank you personally. Thank you guys for what you do. And I will find out who I need to thank in our community for getting this to happen, because it's to me, it's an honor to have you guys here in little Morgan County, Indiana.
It truly is an honor for us to be here.
All right, Cindy, it's Saturday night. It's right around midnight. We're here at Morgan County Fairgrounds. They have the wall that heals. This is pretty amazing out here. You had the opportunity to go out with Rolling Thunder and ride your motorcycle out to DC on Memorial Weekend and do the demonstration ride through DC with about 1 million motorcycles. What is it like for you now to be right here in your hometown and see this replica of the wall right here?
It's pretty amazing. I mean, being this late at night, there's still people out here looking at the wall. It's a full moon tonight, and it's just, it almost gives you chills, because when we went to DC, it was so amazing to be able to go out there and I mean, it brought tears to your eyes when you went out there, and to come up here and see this, and it's just amazing. I don't know. I'm sure for the people who have had their family members that were in the Vietnam War, how much this has got to be just so amazing to be able to see it, because not everybody gets to go to DC to see what it's really like, and to have a smaller replica of it and be able to come out here and see it. And you know, I know when we were in DC, these letters on the wall are like indented, so I remember that they would take paper and they would rub the name off of it. I can't remember what it was called, but it was just so amazing to be able to see that, and you could take it back to whoever's member of their family had passed away. And I don't know what it would be like to lose somebody in the war, but I can't imagine what it would be like for somebody to be able to see the name on the wall and know that their loved one actually has. They can come and see their name and have that memory of it. So for me, it's pretty cool. So Aisha, tomorrow is Veterans Day. Tell me what Veterans Day means to you.
Veterans Day to me just means remembering all of the soldiers, brothers and sisters in arms who have fought for our freedoms that we have today before me, and who are currently serving. It's just an honor to be able to wear the uniform and represent the United States military, try and be a good steward of the profession, and it's been probably one of the greatest 11 years of my life.
11 years?
Mm-hmm.
You don't even look like you're old enough to be in there 11 years.
I joined as soon as I could, so.
That's awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for your service. It's because of you guys doing what you do that we have freedoms here, and we appreciate you guys so much. So thank you.
Oh, we appreciate it too, and it's great to have your support.
Cindy, I think it was just very fitting to have this episode airing. Here we have Veterans Day is tomorrow. I just want to say thank you to all the veterans out there. If you're retired, just getting it, whatever the case may be, thank you so much for your service. You know, I know motorcyclists, there is a very, very, very heavy military presence when it comes to motorcycling. And I just want to say thank you so much. We support you guys. Yes. Listen, nobody likes war, okay? Right. Nobody likes war. Nobody likes conflict. But unfortunately, it's a part of life. And I just want to say thank you so much to all of our service people for everything that you do. The reason we get to do these charity rides that we do every week here in Indianapolis is because of what these people did for us, keeping us a free nation.
Yes.
It's just pretty awesome.
It is. It's amazing. The military are great, and you know, they sacrifice so that we can have what we have, and we do appreciate it so much. Exactly.
And like we say every week, it's kind of weird to say it on this particular episode, but it's kind of like those that serve. There's many different ways of serving, you know, whether it's Marines, whether it's Army, whether it's Navy, Air Force, or, you know, Coast Guard. You have all those different things, National Guard. Well, it's the same way with the motorcycle community. We do a lot of charity rides. We try to help a lot of people, and we do it on Harleys, Indians, Hondas, Suzukis, Kawasaki's, Triumphs. We do it, and that's what it's all about. So it is fitting at the end of this episode. Thank you to all our servicemen and women out there. Thank you for what you have done and for your sacrifice. And remember, it's not what you ride.
It's that you ride.